So welcome everyone to today's Moodle presentation. Moodle is one of the most famous learning management systems in the world, one of the most popular due to the open source principle behind it. So that's not a surprise that we are talking about one of the most popular LMS integration that PlagScan offers. And I can also say if one of the best integration we have, not only because the effort that we put behind this project, but also because the nature of the integration that is very deep and integrated with the interface of Moodle. You can contact us for any further question, and you can find our Moodle plugin in the Moodle store or directly from within Moodle by searching for third parties under plugins checker. And the installation is quite simple. However, it might require the intervention of your system administrator because rights of installation of the plugin. So make sure to inform the administrator of your Moodle instance whenever you want to start to test PlagScan. So without further ado, let's have a look at how the PlagScan integration looks like for an administrator. And after the installation has been completed and you have the green light with the callback configuration accepted, you are free to go. With just a free account at PlagScan, you can directly test the integration. It's not necessary to have an active subscription of PlagScan to test our integration. However, if you contact our support team, we will more than happy to advise you on how to have the integration to work properly and give you some free credits to test our integration at its fullest. As you can see here, you can set the interface of the report of PlagScan, and that's something that you will see later on, and how the email policies or check-in policies should look like. This means that you as an administrator can set up against which sources that PlagScan offers. You can check any documents submitted by your students, and this setting applies to every other assignment configured within your account. It's also possible to have students accept or refuse to submit their documents to PlagScan according to the regulation that you have set within your school, and to add a disclosure that the student must accept, and other specific settings as if you want to delete the document after a certain period of time after checking it, to whom the document should be associated, the organization account or the individual professor, and leave the rest to the individual settings for the assignment. So we are talking about if you want to have all your documents submitted by the same students to ignore each other, to avoid self-matches. An example is when a student submits a document twice or to different instructors, but the document is the same. It will trigger positive within the organization account, and you can set to ignore self-matches from the same student submitted to any assignment that you have created within Moodle. And also, if you want to exclude the documents from being archived within the organization repository. Another setting that is very important is if you want to allow the text submission to be checked for plagiarism or not. As you know, in Moodle there are two ways of submitting a document: attaching a document or directly having the text input within a window. And if you select yes, we are also going to check the text within the Moodle submission interface. And also if you want to share the results with the student. Some organizations prefer to keep the results only for the professor, and in this case will be the never case. However, if you want to have the students to see their plagiarism checking after the due date has passed or immediately after submission, this is the setting that you can use for that. And also what level of access you want to grant to the student, if you want them only to see the percentage of plagiarism within the document, or also have access to the full plagiarism report. Of course, you as an administrator can choose this for the entire school or university, but you can leave this choice to the individual assignment. So let me show you how the interface looks like when you are a professor and you want to receive documents from your students. So let me log in as a teacher. Now we are logged into Moodle as teachers and we are going to our course. As you may know, but I'm going to draw you through the same experience. It's very simple to create a new assignment for your students. You just have to go into the setting area and turn editing on, and within this section, you can create a new assignment. So let's select assignment in the new activity section, and let's create our first assignment with plagiarism checking enabled. So now we're creating our originality in education assignment, and scrolling down through the settings, we will find PlagScan. And to enable PlagScan within this Moodle assignment, you just have to select a yes. Of course, there is more than one yes, so which type of yes do we want to have in our assignment? Do we want to check the document manually? So as a professor, I receive document and they are checked whenever I log into Moodle and I click to check the assignment. Do we want the assignment to submit the document to PlagScan immediately after it's uploaded, or just when the due date arrives, or at the first due date? So what's the main difference with this? And just for this example, let's do immediately. The main difference is that if you want to have cross-checking between all your students, if you start a check immediately, the first document will not check itself against documents submitted in the future. This means that the second document submitted tomorrow will find a match against the document submitted today, but the first one will not have the same. If instead you check all documents at the deadline, you will all check them at the same time, and with this type of analysis, you guarantee that all documents are not only checked against all the sources that PlagScan check against, but also against each other. It all depends on if you allow any way to check within students, or if you only want to have results against the web. If you only want against the web, you can start the check immediately because will not change the outcome. And we suggest, of course, to ignore self-matches, because that could create sometimes students submitting two documents at the same time. If it's not strictly necessary, enable ignore self-matches. So with this assignment, we will have our documents checked immediately as soon as they are submitted, and the result will be shared fully with the student. So let's save and return to the course. Okay, the assignment now is created and the plagiarism checking is enabled. Let's now switch to the student view. So now we are watching the assignment as a student. We are logging inside the originality in education assignment, and we want to submit our document to our instructor. So let's select our paper, drag it inside Moodle, and save changes. Save changes, it means that it is automatically submitted to your instructor, and as the setting was to automatically upload the document to PlagScan, at the same time we are also checking the document in this exact moment. It can take some minutes depending on the size of the document, but this all in general depends on how big the document is. So right now we are just staying within the student overview. We now got our result. As students, we had submitted our paper to our instructor, and as we can see, it was correctly checked with PlagScan. We got our result, and we can even open the plagiarism report and explore the document. In case we, as students anyway, would like to leave a message to our professor, it's also possible to add a comment. So we just left a comment to our teacher, and the instructor opening the report can also see our comment directly within the plagiarism analysis. Let's just now get back a bit to the instructor overview, so you can see you as an instructor will see this result. And let's look at our submission from what we will see during our daily work when we receive papers from a student. So let's go in the view all submission, and as you see, we have our native integration of PlagScan displaying within the Moodle overview of all submitted documents the PlagScan logo as a success notice of the document being checked for plagiarism and plagiarism percentage of the document. Of course, we can also open the document on our side as professors and interact with our students. But with this functionality, you have seen all main capabilities of PlagScan as a deep and native integration with your Moodle instance. Thank you.